With $200 to work with, I choose these studio monitors. PreSonus Eris E3.5. Honestly, these monitors surprised me with just how clean and professional they sound for the price. When I first plugged them in, I was struck by the clarity in the mid-range and highs. Vocals and dialogue in my video edits came through with fantastic detail, which isn't something I take for granted in a budget setup. What really sets them apart though are the acoustic tuning knobs on the back. Being able to dial back the treble a bit or boost the bass to fit my room is a feature you just don't see at this price, and it made a real difference. In my experience, they don't have the deepest bass. You'll feel something is missing if you're producing bass-heavy electronic music, but the low end is tight and articulate enough for most tasks. For podcasters, YouTubers, or anyone getting started with mixing who needs an honest, clear sound without breaking the bank, these are an incredible value. Mackie CR3X. The Mackie CR3X is what I call a crowd pleaser, and for a good reason. The first thing I noticed was the convenience. Having the volume knob and a headphone jack right in the front is just plain smart for a desktop setup. Sound-wise, they have a very energetic V-shaped signature that with boosted highs and a punchy mid-bass that makes music and games feel more exciting right out of the box. They definitely provide a more fun listening experience compared to the flatter, more analytical Eris E3.5s. However, when I tried to do some critical mixing, that coloration became a drawback. The build feels practical but not premium, and while the bass has some weight, it can sound a bit muddy and lacks true low-end extension. These are the perfect upgrade from standard computer speakers for someone who primarily games, watches movies, or casually listens to music and wants a more powerful, engaging sound. If I had to spend my own $200 on one of these for studio work, I would buy the PreSonus Eris E3.5 because its flatter frequency response and acoustic tuning controls offer a more honest and adaptable foundation for mixing and content creation. With $400 to work with, I choose these studio monitors. Adam Audio T5V. This is the monitor that completely redefined what I thought was possible at this price, mainly because of the UART ribbon tweeter. In my experience, the clarity you get in the high end is just phenomenal. It makes picking out reverb, tails, and subtle clicks in a mix almost effortless. I was genuinely surprised by the bass response. For a 5-inch speaker, the low end feels full and can get surprisingly punchy without tuning into mud, even when I push the volume. While some people complain that the top end is too bright and causes ear fatigue, I personally never had an issue, and found them to be transparent rather than harsh. These monitors force you to be honest with your mix. For me, these are the perfect choice for the serious bedroom producer or mix engineer who needs analytical detail and a flat revealing sound to make critical decisions. GBL305P MkII. The first thing that struck me about the GBL305P MkII was its ridiculously wide sweet spot, which is no marketing gimmick. I found I could move around my desk quite a bit without completely losing the stereo image, something other monitors in this range struggle with. They have a sound that I'd call more flattering than the Adams. It's detailed and enjoyable to listen to for long sessions with a solid low-end presence that makes beat making really fun. That flattering nature means they might be a little too nice and less brutally honest than other monitors, but the battery EQ switch on the back is a lifesaver. If you have them close to a wall, honestly, these are fantastic for the songwriter, content creator, or producer who wants a monitor that sounds great, is forgiving in less than perfect rooms, and makes the creative process more enjoyable. If I had to spend my own $400, I would buy the Adam Audio T5V because its exceptional high-frequency clarity is invaluable for critical mixing and mastering work. If I had $600 to spend, these would be my top studio monitor choices. MkII Audio LP6V2. This is the monitor that makes you question what's possible on a budget. It delivers a level of honesty I just don't expect at this price. In my experience, the LP6V2 is all about accuracy. The sound is impressively transparent and almost characterless, which is exactly what you want for mixing. You hear your music, not the speaker. I was particularly impressed with its stereo imaging, which creates a wide soundstage with a really solid center. A huge plus for me is the front-facing port and the boundary EQ settings on the back. It gave me the flexibility to place them closer to a wall without the bass getting muddy, a common headache in a home studio setup. While the bass is clean, it does feel a little light, and you might find yourself wanting a sub down the line. The build is solid, but the finish isn't premium, which is a fair trade-off for the sound quality you're getting. For anyone starting out or mixing in an untreated room, the LP6V2 is a fantastic choice for a reliable and forgiving reference monitor. Adam Audio T8V. If you need to feel the low end in your tracks and want a monitor that sounds massive, the Adam Audio T8V is an absolute beast. My first impression was just how much clean, powerful bass these things push out thanks to that 8-inch woofer. You can get away without a subwoofer for a lot of electronic or hip-hop production. That signature Adam Audio ribbon tweeter provides a detailed and revealing high end that's smooth and easy to listen to for hours without any harshness. However, these monitors are big, and you'll need to make sure you have enough desk space for them. I also found that their rear-ported design can create a bit of boominess if they're too close to a wall, so they demand more careful placement than the Collies. The T8Vs are for the producer or DJ who craves that powerful full-range sound and has the space to let them breathe properly. If I had to choose one, I would buy the MkII Audio LP6 V2 because its front-ported design and honest, flat response make it more adaptable and reliable for mixing in the typical, less-than-perfect rooms most of us actually work in. If I only had $800 to spend, these are the studio monitors I'd buy. Yamaha HS8. The Yamaha HS8 is one of those monitors that feels like an industry standard for a reason, but using it is a lesson in brutal honesty. In my experience, these don't flatter your music. They expose every single flaw with their incredibly flat and neutral response. The 8-inch woofer delivers a seriously deep and powerful low end, so much so that I found the subwoofer completely unnecessary. While the mids are warm and the highs are crisp, the high-end clarity can lean towards being a bit harsh, sometimes causing ear fatigue during longer mixing sessions. You also need a fair amount of space for these, as placing them too close to a wall can create unwanted bass buildup. For me, these are the perfect monitors for producers who are serious about technical mixing and need a reliable, unforgiving reference to make sure their tracks translate everywhere, as long as you have a well-treated medium to large room to let them breathe. Focal Alpha 50 Evo. The Focal Alpha 50 Evo immediately surprised me with how premium it feels and sounds for its size. Its clear focal packed their high-end expertise into this more compact monitor. The standout feature for me was the incredibly wide sweet spot. I could move around my workspace without losing the stereo image, which is fantastic for a real-world home studio setup. The sound is beautifully balanced, and bass is warm and tight without getting muddy, and the newest slate fiber driver delivers fantastic detail and clarity in the mids and highs without any harshness. I also appreciated the versatile inputs on the back, including XLR, TRS, and RCA. The only minor annoyance was the auto standby feature that turned them off after 15 minutes of inactivity, but thankfully you can disable it. These are absolutely perfect for producers working in smaller rooms who need professional-grade clarity and a detailed, non-fatiguing sound without sacrificing their entire desk. If I had to choose one, I would buy the Focal Alpha 50 Evo because its exceptional clarity and wide sweet spot make it more versatile and practical for a typical home studio environment. If I had $1,000 to spend, these would be my top studio monitor choices. MkII Audio A7X V2. The MkII A7X V2 is one of those monitors that genuinely surprises you with its honesty for the price. It feels like it's punching way above its weight class. In my experience, these are brutally revealing speakers. What you hear is exactly what you get with no flattery. The first time I played a complex mix through them, I was taken aback by the level of detail and clarity in the mid-range, thanks to that three-way coaxial design. It creates this big immersive soundstage where every element has its place, though I did notice the vertical sweet spot is a bit narrow, so proper placement is key. The low end is clean and punchy without being artificially boosted, which gave me a lot of confidence when dialing in bass and kick drums. They aren't speakers that will make your music sound better, they'll show you precisely what's wrong with it. For that reason, they're the perfect tool for a producer or engineer who needs an unflinchingly accurate reference for mixing and mastering, especially since the boundary EQs help them adapt to less-than-perfect rooms. Adam Audio A7X. The Adam A7X has been a studio staple for years, and the moment you hear that XR tweeter, you understand why. My first impression was the incredible detail and airiness in the high frequencies. It's exceptionally clear without ever becoming harsh or fatiguing, which is a huge improvement over many other monitors. What really blew me away was the stereo imaging. Listening to well-produced tracks felt almost three-dimensional, as if I could reach out and touch each instrument in the mix. This precision makes placing sounds in the stereo field incredibly intuitive. While it's a 7-inch woofer, the bass response is surprisingly deep and natural, and I felt comfortable working on most material without needing a sub. Honestly, it's hard to find any real faults. The transition between the woofer and tweeter is practically seamless. This monitor is for the producer who obsesses over detail and needs surgical precision. If you want to hear the texture of a reverb, tail, or the subtle nuances of a vocal performance, the A7X delivers in a way few others in this price range can. If I had to buy one, I would choose the Adam Audio A7X for its legendary XR tweeter, which provides a level of high-frequency detail and three-dimensional imaging that makes critical mixing decisions feel effortless. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you pick the best studio monitors for you. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. Links to all of these products mentioned in this video will be in the description. Alright, peace out.